moment of truth.
It's high summer, and the heat is on at Q's garden in the country, Wakehurst.
844
Q goes fundraising with a little help from its friends.
Oh, hang on, we're on the next bid.
And the tree gang have a sad task to perform.
Lovely specimen, but we make room for progress.
40 years ago, Wakehurst Place in Sussex became Q's garden in the country. It's been evolving since 1903, and with its mild, plant-friendly climate, with high rainfall and good soil, it's an ideal home for many plants that find Q's dry and sandy earth less to their liking. Beyond Wakehurst's formal beds lies the Loder Valley Nature Reserve, which has woodland that dates back thousands of years. The 149-acre reserve is managed by Steve Robinson, who is today continuing a tradition that goes back centuries.
Just put that there. Historically, there would have been, dozens, hundreds of charcoal burners working this site. Within Sussex, within the high weald, so there's pretty much more labour available then. But I remember a few years ago talking to a guy that worked in some woods nearby, and he was a charcoal burner in the 1950s, and on his own he worked 5 of these kilns.
Fortunately for Steve, he has only one kiln to work with, but preparation for charcoal burning began with tree felling back in the depths of winter. These trees have to be managed like any other crop, and are thinned out and harvested by a process known as coppicing. Even with modern machinery, it's tough manual labour. Luckily, Steve appears to have plenty of elbow grease. The felled trees will be converted into charcoal in the summer and sold, generating much needed income for the gardens.
The only easy part about making charcoal is having a pint and the sausage at the end of it. The actual process is pretty hard work.
Once cut and split, the wood is stacked for the summer.
And probably this one stack here is probably about 3/4 of a burn there, so probably not even half a tonne of charcoal there at the moment.
Five months later, Wakehurst's looking glorious. The felled wood is now dry and ready for the kiln, and Steve swings into action with his modern take on a centuries-old skill, converting wood into charcoal.
The idea when we're stacking is to stack it as tightly as possible, because the more wood we get in there, the more charcoal we get out.
It may appear on the face of it that cutting down trees to make charcoal isn't very eco-friendly, but there are sound environmental reasons for doing it.
60,000 tonnes of charcoal used within the UK, and only about 1,800 tonnes is actually English lumpwood charcoal. The rest is imported charcoal, which accounts to about 3% of actually English lumpwood charcoal used. And they estimate there's some 800,000 tonnes of over-mature and neglected coppice in the southeast of England, which could be converted into charcoal again. The English lumpwood charcoal is very easy to light, and it gets to temperature very quickly, so you can cure your hunger pains much quicker and burn those sausages. Okay. So I do my parachute roll. Each burn should, in pound notes, when it's actually sold, the public, there should be about £600 worth of charcoal in there. So if I screw up, basically, I've potentially lost £600 worth of income.
Kew employs over 250 gardeners, students and volunteers to keep the collections looking their best. But sometimes the plants have to give way to progress. In the north of the garden, a 150-year-old Italian poplar is standing right where a much-needed new extension to the jungle laboratory will be built, so it has to be cut down. Enter the tree gap. And when it comes to felling trees, they arrive well prepared. Andy McClure is in charge of cutting the tree down, as well as showing Matthew, the gang's latest recruit, the ropes.
My young kids, we started a couple of days ago. Matthew, he's 18, and he's come as a trainee arborist. Now, he's the same age as John was, but John's fatter than me, so we'll be training him up over the next couple of years, and we hope to get a good arborist out of it. John's going to go up there and strip the tree down the sides and back, then you'll chop it out, and then we'll move into the chipper and get rid of all the material. Right, Matthew. And he's going to come down and do these side ones first, and then he'll work his way up. And then the top will be he's up as high as he can at the moment. He'll probably have to go up higher later on once he gets these side ones off. But just keep your eye on John how he's working.
But all is not what it seems. Only when the tree is felled will Matthew learn one of the first lessons of tree conservation. Half a mile away on the western edge of Kew lies the Bamboo Garden, which was created in 1891 by landscaping an old gravel pit. Today, it's grown into a collection of 140 different types, with a traditional Japanese village house at its centre. Unfortunately, one of the more aggressive bamboos is threatening to undermine the precious Mexican oak, and Ray Townsend has come to see how it can be stopped.
Yeah, what we've got is a problem here. We're on the outside of the bamboo garden, the main area, in the woodland area, and we've put a few planters in here. You can start to see, we've got a rhizome of this full of stackers here, which is about to go wolfies straight towards that Mexican oak that we've got just here, which is an extremely valuable oak as far as the collection is concerned. It was collected on a Kew Mexican expedition, and we've all been surprised how well they've done. So the last thing I want is the bamboos to come in and smother this. So if you look just here, you can see we actually put this in, this plastic, all the way around. Then we backfilled with the soil, and obviously made sure we had this much on show, so we could have a mulch depth to this. We can still see it, and if any rhizomes go over the top, we can stop them before they do. So the plan is during this winter, is again we will select other sites through here, dig the holes, put the plastic in, and do the whole process again, and put some new species that we collected in Japan actually in the collection. We should put those out in May of next year.
Sounds like a good plan. Hopefully the oak will be safe for a few hundred years more. Other plants are on the move too. It's time for the annual auction, and for Margaret Lee, a friend of Kew, it's an event not to be missed.
I've attended most of the auctions since they began. I've only missed two, and they're the greatest fun evenings, I think, of the lot. Great camaraderie, trying to get the best price for every plant. Sometimes one gets landed with plants you don't exactly want, but that doesn't matter at all. I've got some nice samples here. Cardiocrinum giganteum, nice geranium.
Margaret has two great passions in life, Kew and the golf club that lies next door to the gardens. The auction gives her the chance to help both of them by buying yew trees and planting them on the course.
This particular tree, the Quercus palustris, was planted about 6 years ago by Tony Kirkham and Roger Howard. It's one of about 9 specimens throughout the course. The Kew Observatory is on the site, and 200 years ago there was a farm here, and George III used to come to the farm. He used to walk across to his Kew Observatory to watch the stars. And what's very interesting, behind us there are some steps. They're called King George's steps. You can see quite clearly how the steps go down into the ha-ha, and they actually come up the other side into Kew Gardens, into Queen Charlotte's Gardens.
Back at Kew, the gardens are full of visitors, and Andy is putting on a bit of a show.
He's got a crowd, hasn't he? Old fella. Seems that all the Juddle people have come out to watch. Normally we're tucked away somewhere and we only get a few, but yeah. You know, we're only dropping this all the time is because this whole area is going to be demolished, and all the grass that we're standing on and all the paths are going to be lifted because of the houses being demolished. So we're just dropping this. Normally we would sling it and rig it all down carefully.
It's all new to Matthew.
I'm straight from college doing A-levels and I came straight here. It's my 3rd day. I like the physical side of it, I like trees. It's a great place to work. Sort of stuff, I mean, can't be much better really, I suppose.
For Kew's visitors and Matthew, it's a lesson in tree felling, and there's still a surprise to come. Felling trees will always attract a crowd, but down at Wakehurst, away from the public gaze, Steve is about to do something equally spectacular.
That's what you do on a hot sunny day.
Put simply, making charcoal is cooking wood. Set the oven to gas mark 8 and roast for 16 hours until done to a turn.
The whole idea of the kiln is you're burning wood with the least amount of oxygen without the wood actually turning to flame. So the worry is that you think you're actually burning in there, but sometimes you can get flame coming out. It's not actually wood burning, it's actually gases, and that gas will actually burn as a flame. And some of the old burners, they call it happy smoke. If you get a good lung full of this smoke, it's supposed to make you happy. I think it doesn't make you happy, it just probably cuts that oxygen and makes you go lightheaded for a few seconds. And the smell as well tends to appeal to women more than men. So I make sure when I go home I don't have a shower, so I'm like an attractant. The kiln probably get up to about 200 or 300, I think, degrees centigrade. Out of the chimney, that's where all the moisture and tannins and tar is going to come out. And there may well be something like 30 or 40, 50 gallons of water that come out of these chimneys from that wood. When I first started charcoal burning, I used to get quite paranoid and sort of worry about it. But the best idea really is just to, once it's lit, is to go away and leave it and forget about it for half an hour. Otherwise, if you watch it like a newborn baby, you worry about it too much.
With Steve heading for a well-earned break, Ray has answered an emergency call to help some hungry animals.
I was listening to the radio, and there was a peal went out from London Zoo, and they'd asked for any bamboo material because they were desperate for food material for the animals. So last week I phoned the zoo and said that we'd planned doing this down here in the next few weeks, and were they interested in taking some of the canes that we're going to be cutting back. So this lot will all be loaded up later once we've cut a quantity down, and we'll all go off to the zoo. Certainly once a year anyway, we could provide them with some bamboo, and obviously they said yes to that. So this may be the first lot, and the second lot may come in maybe in March, but we'll have to see. We'll see what they think of this lot first. What would be good is to see which animals they actually feed this bamboo to, because you would think it would be the pandas, but from what I can understand on when we provided bamboo before for them, which was last time about 15 years ago, all the animals ate it, elephants and all sorts, so I'd be interested to see what other animals actually will use this material.
That's more than a mouthful for a hungry herbivore. Just how many bamboo eaters are there at London Zoo?
Coming up to Monday, it's not going to do it, is it?
He loves this kind of stuff, doesn't he?
Right, no, we'll have to lopper it then. Okay, watch yourself. Right, let's get the loppers on it. God, I must be mad liking these things. We're still going to have to cut more.
Nice.
No?
You get any more?
Almost.
Yeah? A little bit more.
A little bit more. How much is a little bit more, Brian? 5 centimetres. Come on, one big. Right. Ready?
Right, straight now.
Go. Yes! Oh, come on, Brian, the goal to Yes! Really sure?
Yeah. That's it.
Go for that.
Go up to the zoo now.
Looks like the animals will be getting more than just bamboo for their dinner. The auction raises money for Kew and its partners conserving plants around the world.
I'm holding my cards close to my chest at the moment. I'm not letting too many people know, because they may bid against me. This is the star plant. It's evergreen. It's very attractive. And it's very tempting. It is almost unpronounceable. It's Photinia icacamensis. Not bad.
Margaret's opposition have also been sizing up what's on offer.
Maybe it's a little bit of sort of snobbery, but it's quite a nice, fun thing to have something unusual and sit at your house. Well, actually, I got this at Kew. Beats the sort of local garden centre, that kind of thing.
I quite like the look of this one. A bit smaller this year, it might go in the back of the car.
And sometimes one has gone home on the tube with something that's very difficult to manage.
And we have to make place, that's it, you know. It's like books, you never have enough. It's also a jolly good evening out. Not bad.
I'm hoping it's going to be very modest this year. We'll see. I'm keeping very quiet about that.
How do you know when to stop?
Well, sometimes I don't.
The poplar is stripped, its branches turned into chippings, and after 4 hours of major surgery, it's time for the final cut.
Oh no!
First tree down. It's got a big tree. Yeah, I've seen it come down before, but I mean, nothing that size. It's like... this one here is rotten.
heart rot.
It was the lesson that Matthew had yet to learn. The tree looked healthy, but was in fact dying and could have come down of its own accord at any time. In the orangery, Sir Peter Crane gets the ball rolling.
Good evening and welcome to the 14th plant auction at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew. And it's a great pleasure to see you all here this evening.
We'll start with lot number 1, which I think will be brought through for us now. Here it comes.
It's quite a pretty one. It's quite pretty.
£50. 55.
Margaret's off to a flying start and up to her usual tricks.
I've got one of these. Have you? I'm just trying to put the prices up. I'm just trying to get the... Yes, get with it. For God's sake, get with it.
35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 90.
Well, the bidding's certainly lively, but how's Margaret doing?
We're getting plenty of money in for Kew Gardens, and I've got a couple of plants that I wanted, and been able to increase the prices on some for the bidding, which is great success.
£80, 85, £90. She shakes her head. It's yours at bidding.
I've changed my mind.
95.
That's another one she's bought. How many more lots will she go away with?
I didn't want it. I wanted it, but I was naughty because I didn't actually need it desperately.
Is this Paulonia destined for the golf club too?
95, new bidder. 100, 110, 120. All done at 120. 844.
I think she's buying a forest.
70. Anybody else? £70.
Got it.
844.
70. That's great for the golf club. Oh, this is one I want.
All done at 40.
Great.
844.
That could go to RMS. We're going to have an awful lot of sorting out to do. Wonderful. Wonderful.
140. 140 right at the back. 140. 844.
Great, that's what I wanted. I got it cheap.
Oh, well, it's nice if it was a snip.
844.
A lot is going to the golf club. Quite a lot, yes. That will have to go to the golf club. I can't get that.
It's yours, the back, 120.
And someone curious to know just what Margaret's going home with is Tony Kirkham.
How many have you bought?
Goodness knows. The thing is, I voted for something, and it wasn't a plant, it was for Nigel Taylor.
Did you buy Nigel?
No, I didn't, fortunately. But I like him very much.
Did you get your poppers?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
It may be only a short drive to the golf course, but Margaret's trees travel in style.
To the van, you thinking, how much further is it going to go?
As one van load of plants heads for the golf course, another delivery is eagerly awaited by some exotic animals.
Just what we need.
We're alright, yeah?
Yeah.
The bamboo's not only food for the animals, but its smell alone can perk them up and add to their quality of life.
They've already said that they'll probably take you home. But habitats, so you'll see all these stuff.
See the animals, eh? That sounds fun. Be careful. We've got some sort of... We're hopefully going to get to see a monkey with a bit of luck.
One particular resident is most grateful, as curator Richard Gibson explains.
These are bamboo lemurs. They're called gentle lemurs
right.
here, but they're actually bamboo lemurs. They live in bamboo. They're specially adapted to live in the bamboo fields around, this species is just a very
Madagascar.
rare animal. Yeah. It's a very rare animal. You can't really see it on here, but it's got one tiny little dot on Madagascar. So these are specially adapted to eat Phragmites and bamboo. Their diet is very, very rich in roughage. Their leafy greens is virtually all they eat in the wild. So coming to England, which is unfortunately necessary for their conservation, it's good to get all the bamboo we can get hold of.
And they are threatened in the wild, are they?
One of the most threatened species of mammals here in the zoo, certainly. The last population estimates were probably something around 200 or 300 animals, I think.
It's great to see, actually. It's great to see someone appreciating it instead of, oh no, not bamboo again.
Improving its environment has always been a priority for the zoo, and hoping that this is just the start of a new collaboration with Kew is London Zoo's horticulturist Kevin Frediani.
We might not be able to use every single bit of bamboo we've got this time, but what we will be able to do is find out what the saturation point is, what the animals can have, they're going to have for at least 1 day, possibly 2 days, complete injection. So that's a one-off. We've never been able to do this before. So fantastic.
I think they've done a great job there, cutting the bamboos down yesterday for the zoo and bring them here this morning, seeing the animals munch their way from the bamboos we've provided. And to actually get the chance to meet Kevin as well, and to look round the zoo at the different ideas he's got for horticulture at the zoo. And no, it's great, absolutely worthwhile. And I think in the future, it's a great contact. So yeah, I think we can work really well together.
At Wakehurst, the charcoal burn is complete and the kiln has cooled overnight. But will Steve find prime charcoal or just a pile of ash?
This was like a moment of truth.
It's the anticipation of when I look inside the kiln. And I'm pretty happy with that. That looks really good. Originally it was stacked all up to here, and it's dropped all the way down, and as the timber was stacked side by side, it's managed to collapse down almost completely even, right the way down to the lower ring.
Each summer, Steve makes around 150 bags of Wakehurst charcoal, all of which ends up in Kew's garden shop.
Like that. You can still see all the fibres, and the amazing thing is, this has got to 400 or 500 degrees centigrade, but even the smallest piece of wood hasn't actually burnt, and that's still charcoal. And in the past we sent some fines, the very small particles go up to Kew, can be used in composting for things like orchids. That's what we want.
The final job is one that Steve doesn't always look forward to.
Thank you. It's the other way round with this. When I'm loading it, you might see my ankles. That means I've filled it up. And this way round, you don't want to see my ankles, you want to see my waist. That means I'm on the bottom.
Scooper.
3 months later, and with the help of Tony from the golf course, Margaret gets to plant her Douglas fir.
Fortunately, I think I'll be dead and gone by the time it reaches its full height. So.
Yeah, well, the tallest one, it is the tallest tree in Britain, is in Perth, which is 212 feet, which is roughly only 100 years old. So potentially, quite a big tree. We'll straighten it up a bit. I want to tread on your toes. No. Ruin your dancing career.
Well, but I think the important thing is the number of the trees I bought this year are endangered in the wild, and it's good to have several spots where they can be grown and flourish.
The first of the trees Margaret bought at the auction is planted on the golf course. 1 down, 30 33 to go. And at Wakehurst, the last of this year's charcoal is sold. Next time, a rare plant arrives at Kew from Robinson Crusoe's island in the Pacific. A plant hunter ventures to one of Britain's remote outposts in the South Atlantic. And in the gardens, the tree gang's latest recruit goes